Have you ever wondered what would happen if the strongest trio TV titans in the Skibidi fandom invaded the Skibidi Multiverse? How would they be able to face off against the most massive threats in the series? And in general, how would it change the entire story? So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. This trio we're talking about would be Dom's TV, Dafuq's TV, and Verlance's TV, as these are some of the strongest TV titans ever in the Skibidi fandom. You can only imagine how they would fare when faced up against the entire multiverse. So, firstly, they'll have to face up against the Astros that we saw from the first episode. And yeah, their goal is to infect them. You might be thinking they'll use the red core thingy that attaches to the core of a Titan and makes some funny movements to infect the Titan. But the Astros in the Skibidi multiverse are not that advanced. So yeah, no funny movements. Only some weak-ass Astros flying around that would all get bullied before they start to attack or inflict damage. So, the Titans have evaded being infected in the first episode, which is a huge win, as there'll be no need for any rescue mission. Instead, they'll focus on clearing out Skibidi bases. But the Skibidis have not had enough. They'll come back, this time in great numbers, to attack the clock base. And don't forget, they'll all be in their base forms. The Cinema Titan for Dafuq's TV, and the rest, we didn't really see their base forms, but let's just imagine a weaker version of the TVs. So, with the clock base attacked, they'll call on the Titans to save them. And then, in an epic battle, we see the trio of TVs fighting against the toilets, literally clearing the base of all the mutants. The scientist realizes this would not be easy, as currently there's no known technology that can affect them, so he'll get to work on that. Meanwhile, the boss realizes they need more manpower based on the constant invasion of the toilets and the toll the battles are taking on the Titans, so the drills would be introduced to help them in battle. This makes things even easier as they go on raids. During a raid on a particular base, the scientist comes in with the prototype of his new invention to test it on the TV Titans. The core, should I really say this? But you all know the name, right? That thing that infected the TV in the OG series? He has somehow found a way to replicate it, and it latches onto the Titans. But this time, it doesn't work because it doesn't have enough power to infect them, so it explodes. But the scientist is pretty much happy with the results, as this shows he's on the right track. He smiles and teleports out of the battlefield. The Alliance is thrown into panic, as the new eerie technology just came out of the blue and is able to infect Titans. They'll have to upgrade their Titans so they won't get infected. To speed up the process, they'll share the Titans among themselves. The clocks take Dafuq's TV, the speakers take Verlance's TV, and the TVs take Dom's TV. At this point, the agents would have the responsibility to protect the base, which would be quite a fight. When the Titans are done with their upgrades, since they are being upgraded by different races, you can only imagine how strong they would be, with perks from the race upgrading them, like time guns, sound waves, and other powers. Damn, the Skibidis better watch out for that. As the agents hold up, there's a massive battle at a particular base, and things are not going too well for the agents as they are almost defeated. Then, just as the clown mutant is about to eat up some agents, Dom's TV comes in using his sword to slash the mutant down to pieces, saving the agents. But they have a problem. The Skibidi scientist has been spotted, and he's with his buddy, the Pennywise toilet. So he teleports to the battlefield. On getting there, he meets with the other TVs in battle. The scientist came prepared, as even when they try to use the time guns on him, it doesn't seem to work. So they'll have to brute force their way out, which I think would not be too hard for our daddy TVs. But there's a problem. Just as the scientist feels that he's being defeated, he whips out his trump card, let's just call it the core penetrator. I don't want to get banned saying the real name. This thingy is able to latch into the core of Verlance's TV, as he didn't notice it while the other Titans were in battle. And it did that strange movement, and just as we all feared, it took over Verlance's TV, turning him against his allies. The scientist is happy. His plan has finally worked, so he just ditched the battle and retreated out of the battlefield with their Titan. Damn, what is the Alliance going to do to uninfect Verlance's TV? Before they even start thinking, they notice a group of kamikaze mutants falling down from the sky, but they just teleport out of the battlefield, escaping the massive explosion. The scientist, however, takes his new Titan to the base and, does more experiments and strengthens the defense so he can't easily be uninfected. Just as he's completing it, he gets a visitor. It's Alpha, and she's quite impressed he's able to capture a freaking Titan and asks for them to work together. So, an alliance is formed. Meanwhile, at the base, the Alliance is terrified. What's next? How would they be able to fight against their own? The scientists rally to find a way to destroy this core penetrator and free Verlance's TV. But since they don't have much information on it, it's basically a dead end. However, they know the Skibidis would invade soon. With the TV, they have to be ready. So they all come up with a plan to get the TV back. They need information about the core penetrator. They'll have to raid the Skibidi base to retrieve their Titan. So a rescue mission is formed. The motive: get information about the core penetrator and buy time for the Titans to receive their final upgrades. The agents are sent to get this information. Stealthily, they invade, hack through the doors, and get into the massive facility where the Titan was kept. They see the records of the experiments and the specifications of the materials used. All this information is downloaded and sent to the Alliance base, where they begin experimenting. But unfortunately for them, an alarm is tripped. The Skibidis have discovered there's a breach. Now, the agents have to scramble away fast to avoid being used as test subjects by the scientist. But they have to fight their way through this time, facing off with toilets and mutants. Luckily, they are able to escape. But unluckily, some of the agents are not able to make it out and are turned into prisoners. Now the Skibidis have leverage against the Alliance, with the prisoners and their Titan in their possession. The scientist notices that his experiment has been tampered with, so he snaps and sends the full fleet of mutants against the clock base, which is where the experiment is being carried out. But by now, the upgrades of the Titans would have been completed, so they can protect themselves, right? Still, they need to find a way to disable the core penetrator. So, Dom's TV would stand guard at the base to protect them inside, while they upgrade Defook's TV to be able to carry out the disinfection. The infected TV comes in and attacks him. Now, it's up to Dom's TV to do something about it. So, what he does is share massive energy from his core forcefully with Verlance's TV, literally overpowering the core penetrator, making it explode and freeing the TV Titan. That's just when the message is coming in from the scientists to overpower the Titan to free him. I guess Dom's TV had already figured that out. The scientist notices that all is not well. All his hard work has been flushed down the drain. The Titan is free. He realizes it's no longer worth it, so he teleports out of the battlefield to carry out Plan B. But just as the Titans are about to catch their breaths, Alpha comes in and summons the counter-Titan, this time with the motive of destroying the Titans. He pounces on them, and since they are quite injured from fighting against themselves and the TV sharing a lot of energy, you can see why the counter would have the upper hand. But then, just as he's about to finish them off, a yellow TV sword pierces through him and yanks him across the battlefield. The upgraded TV Titan has come in. This time, he looks different, with time abilities and a time TV sword. He shares energy with the other Titans, and yeah, they are back to their feet and ready for battle. With this improvement, they are able to literally roast the counter-Titan down to ashes, saving the entire Alliance. As for Alpha, she's captured and, with the blowtorch of the TV's core, is roasted. Huge win, right? Wrong. Among the files they collected from invading the base, there was an encrypted file, which they were later able to hack open. In it, all the information about the G-Man apocalypse was there. So now the Alliance knows what the Skibidis are planning, before it even becomes a threat. The goal now, destroy the scientist, as he's the brain behind all this madness. So they move, this time in a final battle to end it all. Surprisingly, the Skibidis are ready, but not with mutants such as 0, 1, and 2, as there's not enough time for that. The Alliance found out earlier. So, they are caught off guard by the Titans, literally burning the whole base to the ground and freeing the hostages, all thanks to the swift thinking of the Alliance to analyze the data collected. So basically, what saved them was that they found out about the G-Man apocalypse earlier. So yeah, I guess it's a win for the Alliance, until the aliens invade. However, check out this video to find out what would happen if the Titans switched their abilities. Unique Clockman out!